What up YouTube, it's Frisky Dingo here, getting back with you guys with another reaction / review video. Always remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on this video because we are on a 200k sub grind. That being said, today's review / reaction is everyone and their mothers basically watching the last 2 episodes of Attack on Titan and reacting to it. I thought it was pretty cool, you know, as a fan of Attack on Titan since the beginning, before the 2-year hiatus of the first season, and an avid reader of the manga. I can definitely say I've been extremely hopeful to see this scene of the rumbling exist on screen. I'm actually happy that people are reacting to it, having these mixed opinions. Is Eren a protagonist? Is he an antagonist? That's really left up to the viewer to watch. In all honest opinion, you can't really tell when it comes to Eren Yeager if you're just watching it without taking the context in. Many people think it's more of a Lelouch situation, when realistically I have to say it's nothing close to the Lelouch situation, where Lelouch was an authoritarian person that wanted to lead in all aspects. Eren's entire storyline is about freedom and the expression of freedom and people wanting to live free without having to deal with these type of monstrosities. If we go back all the way to the first season, Eren was always angry without even knowing who the Titans were or the history behind the Titans. And I think that's one of the most prominent features of Eren's personality. The fact that he holds and wields the will of Ymir, which is the will of people who want freedom. This is something that's been kind of explained in the manga. People like Kruger, people like Grisha had this will about them, and they've considered the will of Ymir, which is considerably passed on to every single Attack Titan, because they are supposed to not follow in line with the king and the royalty. This goes back all the way to when Ymir basically threw herself in front of the spear. Many people assumed the person who threw the spear was the Attack Titan. That being said, I'm actually pretty happy that everyone has their opinion on it. You know, it's just well received to see a show have so many different opinions just based on what you're seeing first view. So I really hope that this continues with Attack on Titan. It's a really good show, really well manga the way it ended. I just hope more people look at it more from Eren Yeager's perspective than just the overall idea of good versus evil. In Attack on Titan, the premise of good versus evil is completely obsolete. It's between bad and not good versus evil, but more of what's right and what's wrong. And that's pretty much the real understanding of Attack on Titan. The real understanding is that, once again, Eren did not choose any of these things. The people outside forced him to have these beliefs and understandings. If we go back all the way to season 1, like I said, King Fritz has told the people outside of Paradise Island that if they were to attack or threaten the people of Paradise Island, that he would activate the rumbling and destroy the world. Now coming all the way to now, the Marleyans, who are supposed to leave the Paradise Island people alone, ends up sending spies in there to basically cause harm and destruction just to receive the founding Titan's power. So in many aspects, we can understand that the people outside of the world, they feel threatened, but also want to use the power of the Titans to be in control of the world themselves. A perfect example is the Marleyans. The Marleyans had a very close relationship with the Paradise Island people, the Eldians, since the beginning. That being said, the minute that the Eldians decided to go behind the walls, the first thing that Marleyans decided to do was take certain pieces of their own people and basically send them to infiltrate the island, which was completely wrong. So we could definitely see it in these little aspects that Eren isn't necessarily a bad guy or a good guy. He's someone that wants to have his people free, and that's basically the overall arching point of Attack on Titan. It's about freedom. And even to the ending in the manga, when people were upset about the ending, saying it didn't make sense, well, the idea is freedom. Eren never had freedom as a child. He never had freedom as an adult. He could only have freedom as a bird who could fly in the sky and have no one tell him to where he needs to go. And that's basically that's basic premise of it. Going back to Ymir, she didn't have any freedom to become a Titan. She didn't have a freedom to control her Titan powers, and she didn't have the freedom to die. She had to die by being eaten by her own children, who, once again, she necessarily did not love, just like with King Fritz. She necessarily didn't love him. It was just a sense of freedom. She always wanted to be married and to be loved and to be cherished. So that's why she basically, you know, forced herself to fall in love with King Fritz and have his kids, because she wanted that. She wanted that aspect of freedom. She wasn't necessarily in love with the guy, but she wanted that freedom. That being said, that aspect has always played a part in the story of Attack on Titan and Eren's personality, Grisha's decisions, and Kruger's ability to hold the mantle. All of these things revolved around freedom and that aspect. So hopefully more people can understand that. There really isn't too much, like, we don't have to really spawn idealizations, theologies, theories, and all that to really understand the story of Attack on Titan is exactly that. And that's it. You know, that's all we have to understand from that perspective. Ymir was a woman who was a girl, a child who was a slave. She already was born without the ability to choose her own decisions. Also, the slaves in Ymir, the slaves of Eldia, had their tongues cut off, and so on and so forth. So we understand that the Eldians had always suffered to a certain extent, and that they were not given their freedom. Even when they were in power, the royal family had control. Hence why Ymir went with Eren and gave him the founding Titan power. It wasn't about, oh, what is right and wrong. The reality is that Zeke was just like every other royal person before him, telling Ymir what to do, not giving her option of what she wants to do, telling her what she should do with the power and how she should control her own people. Realistically, that's not what Ymir wanted. She only did it because that's what she had thought was freedom. When Eren grabbed her and basically absolved her of that pain, she realized this is true freedom. He is looking for the freedom that I've always been looking for. And that's basically what they're trying to explain with this storyline. And that's pretty much it. A lot of people had a misunderstanding, even in the manga, when Eren basically had died and what happened after that. And that was also prevalent of the storyline. Just because Eren, once again, the nation, when Eren plotted to basically to do what he's currently doing, the understanding is that overall he's gonna do it. People are gonna understand it, and after, and that was the point of him activating the rumbling, him becoming the enemy. He basically becomes the enemy, so the world cannot blame the Eldians, and that he gets rid of the Titan power. But what ends up happening at the end, they still blame the Eldians, they still consider them devils, and for another 100 years they're still going to war over this exact ideology, even though 100 years ago Eren already had gotten rid of all the powers and blamed himself. So ideally the theme is freedom in all ideas, and the one thing Eren did with his death was unite the Eldians under one banner. So obviously that is going to be the continued story, the uniting of the Eldians, having their own military and being able to defend themselves. So it was an overall good storyline. I love Attack on Titan, and hopefully, you know, we get more information on how they're going to move forward with it on another side, because we did see in the end of the series that there was at least 100 years had passed and the war was still going on. So hopefully we could see how that moves forward, and we could definitely get some more news on that. So hopefully we get an update, but until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.